Let's get into Selena Gomez. I just wanted to mention Selena Gomez because you know what? I'm messy and I love Oreos, and she's coming out with her new Oreo flavor. Here you can see they're all going to be printed with different signatures and things like that. Selena said she's selective when it comes to deciding to partner with a brand. So Oreo, is lucky to get Selena. She said, like most people, I've loved Oreo cookies for as long as I can remember. So when I was approached to collaborate on my own flavor, it was something I couldn't say no to. This special cookie comes with 6 different prints on them. And one even says the Selenators, and there's another has her signature. Each treat takes a layer of chocolate and cinnamon cream and a layer of condensed milk cream. And the sandwiches themselves have like chocolate cinnamon flavored wafers, which I love. I heard it was like horchata flavored, which sounds really yummy. Each bite should taste like a sip of horchata, a Mexican beverage made with milk, ground rice, and cinnamon, which I love. Horchata, it's like one of my favorite drinks. Well, I don't drink it all the time because, dairy's hard and it's a lot of calories, but it's good when a place has it, especially if they have it with a little bit of tequila in it. You know what I'm saying? She said, growing up, horchata was one of those comforting things for me. So my favorite childhood memories involved drinking horchata with my family. It was one of my favorite drinks. I want to bottle up that memory and share it through this cookie. The final cookie came to fruition with the help of Benny Blanco, Mr. I don't want to shower. Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave him alone today. Benny was definitely around for some of the tasting. He liked the final results too. The cookies are only a sweet part of this partnership. Oreo is donating to her Rare Impact Fund to get that shmoney. Selena Gomez. Do charities really, is there anyone who checks charities to see if the money actually goes to charity? She said, for me, the most important part is partnering with Oreo, and she's hoping to raise $100 million. They're going to be available online June 2nd and in stores June 9th. So let me know if you guys want a taste test. Just to give you guys some history on Oreo partnerships, I think one of the first ones, it was the second Oreo partnership was with Blackpink back in the day. It was a few years ago, and that was one of the biggest partnerships that Oreo had done with a musical artist. Then we had the Lady Gaga cookie, the green and purple one, which nowadays it kind of reminds me of Wicked, but back then it looks so unappetizing. The Chromatica cookie, I did not want to try it. Post Malone also had a cookie, which I did not know that he had a cookie. I'm slightly upset because it looks so good. It's like a caramel flavor one, and I love caramel. And I posted about this on Instagram, and so many people were like, oh, the Post Malone ones were so good. Comment below if you guys have tried those before, because they look delicious. And I'm actually gonna, hold out and remember to try the Selena one. Let's get into the Diddy trial. Cassie's mother, Regina, was called to the stand today to testify in Diddy's trial. The prosecutor asked Regina to identify Diddy in a photo and explain how she knew him. She said, "He hated my daughter." Regina said she first met Diddy in 2006 when her daughter Cassie signed with his record label. Regina said that her daughter and Diddy started dating in New York City, and she'd see her daughter about 3 or 4 times a year. Now, the goal of Regina being there is to corroborate a couple of stories, but also to talk about Cassie's psyche, how she changed as a person, became more withdrawn. Prosecutors are also going to ask Regina about the $20,000 that Diddy demanded that she pay him. Now, Diddy is the one with all the money here, so why is he demanding $20,000 from Cassie's mother? Well, we'll get there. Regina claims that Cassie emailed her in 2011, claiming that Diddy was threatening to release inappropriate tapes of Cassie. This is whenever Cassie became involved with Kid Cudi, a rapper, and it goes along with the story she told last week. Regina said that the threats have been made towards Cassie and that he was going to release 2 tapes of her, one on Christmas Day and one maybe before or right after or sometime soon. Regina claims that she felt physically sick when she read the email. She said, "I did not understand a lot of it. The tapes threw me off. I did not know the other person, but I knew that he was going to try to hurt my daughter." Regina claims that Diddy then contacted her around the same time of this threat and demanded the $20,000 be paid as recoup money that he had spent on Cassie. He was angry that she had moved on with Kid Cudi, and he wanted that money back, which is ridiculous to me. And at that point, Regina did not know what to do. She and her husband took out a home equity loan on their house, so putting their house up for risk to go and pay him out. Diddy's bookkeeper sent Cassie's mother an email with instructions on how to wire the money to him, and she did it out of her daughter's safety. Now the money was taken out of her account, but then a week later it was deposited back. Diddy never told her why, it was never spoken about, but the money was returned. The jury then saw photos that Regina took of Cassie in December 2011. This was after Diddy physically harmed Cassie, and Regina took it as evidence, which is smart thinking, Mom. She said, quote, "She was bruised and I want to make sure that we memorialized it." Regina testified about a time prior that she read a blind item about a celebrity getting beat up in a car with no names included. She said she asked her daughter if it was her, but Cassie told her it wasn't about her or Diddy. Even though we know how blind items work, it was absolutely about her. And make sure you tune into Blind Item Breakdown tomorrow on Thursday on my main channel. In 2016, Cassie's mother came to go and visit her for her 30th birthday. At that point, Regina and Diddy got into a bitter argument outside of Cassie's apartment building after Diddy stole Cassie's phone. Regina said that she called the police. Quote, "We were arguing about the phone. I wanted the phone back and he was holding it. One of Diddy's security guards were standing between them. I was yelling, screaming, and trying to hit him," she said, but that she was not able to reach him. Regina claims that Diddy eventually gave her back her phone, but then he took Cassie's car. And that's pretty much all we learned from Cassie's mother, Regina, and good for her for getting onto the stand and standing up for her daughter. I'm sure that means a lot to Cassie. Now let's move on to Sheree Hayes. He was involved in some of the FOs, some of those freaky hotel nights. He claims he got a call from Cassie initially, who told him her name was Janet. She said it was her birthday and her husband wanted to hire an erotic dancer for the occasion. He claims that she was wearing a wig whenever he came to their place, and at the time he did not recognize her. Cassie told him to ignore her husband. He said, quote, "I was specifically told not to acknowledge him, not to look at him, no communication, nothing." Afterwards, he was given a stack of cash, about $800, and he left. Now, Sheree claims that he never used drugs with Cassie and Diddy. They offered him some smoke, some alcohol, but he never used it. He also claims that he never saw Diddy doing anything either, and he never seemed to be intoxicated, which is a great point because they could try to make it seem like Diddy's unwell or that he wasn't in the right mind, so he's innocent. But if he's not intoxicated and everyone's saying so, then it makes it seem like he's more guilty. He knows what he's doing. He's in control. Now, as I mentioned, Cassie's ex-boyfriend Kid Cudi will be taking the stand. He had a brief relationship with Cassie because he could not really get to her. Remember that Kid Cudi's car was blown up by Diddy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has to say about this man. Cassie testified last week that Diddy told her that Kid Cudi's car would be blown up in his driveway, and then it was blown up. So I think this will really show how dangerous Diddy is. Now, there's some people saying that Diddy is definitely going to walk free, and others saying no. Now, if he does get in trouble, maybe the President Donald Trump, will pardon him?
We have a pretty big claim coming from Daily Mail. Daily Mail spoke on the phone with Suge Knight, longtime rivalry of Sean Puffy Combs, and he thinks that P. Diddy is not worried about this case because if Sean Puffy Combs is convicted and found guilty in federal court, he thinks that Trump is going to pardon P. Diddy. He also said that he thinks the government owes P. Diddy a few favors, and this is what's going to happen, and Trump's going to save the day with a pardon.
Supposedly, there's a team that is working together to try to get President Trump to pardon Diddy, which they are friends, but I don't think this would be a good political look for Trump.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
A source claims that he's willing to do anything out of jail. He's always been this way. He's always going to do what he has to do to get out of a situation. So I don't know if Donald Trump is going to work in his favor, but it will be interesting to watch. I don't think he'll be able to use that intoxication, oh, I was under the influence, as an excuse to get out. Not this time, Diddy. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.